Within the silent, vast expanse of the cosmos, there exists an object of such staggering complexity that it rivals the universe itself. It is not a star, nor a galaxy, but something far more intimate, residing within each of us. This is the human brain. Contained within the delicate architecture of your skull is the most intricate and powerful structure we have ever encountered. It is the source of every thought you've ever had, every emotion you've ever felt, every memory you cherish, and every dream you've pursued. It is a living galaxy of 86 billion neurons, each one a world of potential, connected in a web of over 100 trillion synapses. This network generates more electrical impulses in a single day than all the cell phones on the planet. And yet this biological supercomputer, this engine of consciousness, performs its miracles with breathtaking efficiency. It operates on just 20 watts of power, barely enough to illuminate a dim light bulb. It is the quiet, constant hum behind the symphony of your existence. To understand this marvel is to understand ourselves. Our journey begins with its fundamental geography, a division into 3 principal regions, each with a vital and distinct role in the story of you: the vast cerebrum, the intricate cerebellum, and the foundational brainstem. Together, they form a perfectly integrated system that allows us to think, to feel, to act, and to live. We begin with the largest and most prominent region, the cerebrum. This is the great wrinkled expanse that we so readily associate with the brain. Its convoluted surface, the cerebral cortex, is the seat of our higher consciousness. It is here that raw data is transformed into coherent thought, where logic wrestles with imagination, and where the self becomes aware of its own existence. The cerebrum is divided into 2 distinct hemispheres, a left and a right, which, while specialized, work in constant, seamless collaboration. Let's explore the 4 major lobes of the cortex, starting at the very front. The frontal lobes act as the brain's executive suite, our command and control center. This is where your identity is forged. It governs your personality, your ability to plan for the future, and your capacity for complex decision-making. When you weigh the pros and cons of a life-changing choice, it is your frontal lobe that runs the simulation. It also houses the motor cortex, the strip of tissue that initiates all your voluntary movements, from the simple act of walking to the delicate precision of an artist's brushstroke. Deep within this lobe, the prefrontal cortex acts as your internal CEO, managing your goals, moderating your social behavior, and providing the self-control necessary to delay gratification for a greater reward. Moving backward, we arrive at the parietal lobes. If the frontal lobe is the CEO, the parietal lobe is the master navigator and integrator. Its primary role is to process sensory information from the world around you. The somatosensory cortex, a key part of this lobe, creates a detailed map of your body, processing every sensation of touch, temperature, and pain. But it does more than just feel. It integrates this information to give you a sense of your body in space, a concept known as proprioception. It allows you to navigate a crowded room without bumping into people, to reach for your keys without looking, and to understand the spatial relationships between you and the world you inhabit. It is the silent architect of your physical awareness. Situated on the sides of the brain just behind the temples are the temporal lobes. These are the brain's great archivists and linguists. Their most recognized function is processing auditory information. Every sound you hear, from the faintest whisper to a thunderous symphony, is decoded and understood here, but their role extends far beyond just hearing. The temporal lobes are critical for language comprehension. A specialized region known as Wernicke's area allows you to decipher the meaning of spoken and written words, turning abstract symbols into rich concepts. Furthermore, these lobes are deeply intertwined with memory. They help form and retrieve the long-term memories that define your personal history, linking sounds, sights, and emotions into the vibrant tapestry of your life. Finally, at the rearmost part of the cerebrum, we find the occipital lobes. This region is singularly devoted to one of our most precious senses, vision. It is the brain's dedicated visual processing center. When light enters your eyes, it is converted into electrical signals that travel along the optic nerve to this lobe. Here, the raw data is meticulously deconstructed and analyzed. Specialized groups of neurons process different components of the visual world: edges, orientation, color, and motion. These elements are then reassembled in collaboration with other brain regions to create the seamless three-dimensional world you perceive. Every sunrise you witness, every face you recognize, is a masterpiece constructed within your occipital lobes. Now, we journey deeper beneath the vast cortex to the emotional core of the brain, the limbic system. This interconnected set of structures is the crucible of our feelings, motivations, and deepest memories. It is the ancient primal brain that powerfully shapes our modern experience. Here, we find the amygdala, a small, almond-shaped structure that acts as our threat detector. It processes emotions like fear and pleasure, triggering the fight-or-flight response and searing emotionally charged events into our memory. Nearby lies the hippocampus, the master indexer of memory. It doesn't store memories itself, but rather organizes and consolidates them, transforming fleeting short-term experiences into lasting long-term knowledge, especially during sleep. And at the heart of this system is the hypothalamus. Though tiny, it is a master regulator, the crucial link between the nervous system and the endocrine system. It is the tireless custodian of your body's internal balance, or homeostasis. The hypothalamus monitors your blood chemistry to tell you when you're hungry or thirsty. It controls your body temperature, manages your sleep-wake cycles, and orchestrates the release of hormones that govern everything from stress to social bonding. It is the silent, essential force that keeps you alive and stable from one moment to the next. Now we move to the structure at the back of the brain, tucked beneath the cerebrum, the cerebellum, or little brain. Though it accounts for only 10% of the brain's volume, it contains over half of its neurons. For centuries, it was known primarily as the center for motor control. And indeed, it is a master of coordination. The cerebellum fine-tunes every movement you make, ensuring it is smooth, balanced, and precise. It calibrates the force, timing, and accuracy of your actions, allowing an athlete to perform with grace or a musician to play with perfect rhythm. It learns and automates motor skills, so that actions like riding a bike or typing become second nature. But recent discoveries show its influence is far broader, extending into the cognitive realm, helping to fine-tune our thoughts and regulate our emotional responses with the same precision it applies to movement. Our final destination is the most ancient and fundamental part of the brain, the brainstem. Connecting the cerebrum and cerebellum to the spinal cord, the brainstem is the absolute bedrock of life. It is composed of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata, and it manages all the vital autonomic functions that we never have to think about. The brainstem is your life support system. It tirelessly regulates your heartbeat, controls the steady rhythm of your breathing, and manages your sleep-wake cycles and overall level of arousal. It is the vigilant guardian that keeps the essential machinery of your body running, whether you're awake or asleep, allowing the higher brain regions the freedom to dream, to think, and to wonder. All of these incredible functions, from the most basic reflex to the most profound thought, are made possible by the language of the brain, the intricate dance of electrical and chemical signals. At the heart of it all is the neuron. When stimulated, a neuron fires an electrical pulse, an action potential, down its axon. At the synapse, the gap between neurons, this electrical signal triggers the release of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These chemicals cross the gap and bind to the next neuron, either exciting it to fire or inhibiting it, in a calculation of staggering speed and complexity. This is not a static system. Your brain is constantly changing, a property known as neuroplasticity. Every time you learn something new, practice a skill, or even just have a novel thought, you are physically rewiring your brain. Synaptic connections strengthen or weaken, new pathways are forged, and old ones are pruned away. This remarkable adaptability is what allows us to learn, to grow, and to recover from injury. Your brain is not just a part of you, it is a dynamic, living sculpture, constantly being shaped by your experiences. And so, we are left with the ultimate question. How does this 3-pound organ, this intricate network of electrical and chemical signals, give rise to the richness of subjective experience? How does it generate consciousness itself? This remains one of the greatest mysteries in all of science. But as our understanding of the brain deepens, we stand on the precipice of a new era, one that promises revolutionary treatments for neurological and psychiatric disorders, the development of more sophisticated artificial intelligence, and perhaps a more profound understanding of what it truly means to be human. The brain is not merely an organ, it is the architect of your reality. It is the storyteller, the artist, and the scientist within. To care for it through movement, learning, sleep, and connection is the greatest investment you can ever make, because in nurturing your brain, you are nurturing the very essence of you.